Hello friends, as we are seeing about Argo CD installation and related stuff, so next topic is Argo CD CLI. So mostly the Argo CD will be handled by a Git repo, and as it's a Git app, but sometimes we may need to know about what are the CLI options are available, how we can use it, right? So this section is mostly focused on the initial basic commands of the Argo CD. So we'll be seeing the very basic commands first, and also I'll be walk you through how to install it. So we can see that options now. And once we install, we'll see some sample commands like how to log in and how to add the clusters, etc. Right? Okay, let's start. So how to install Argo CD CLI, right? So if based on your system, you can pick the options. I don't think so. You may use something like Argo Linux or something. So, but you may have some test environment in your local. And if you are most familiar or more flexible with the Linux, or Red Hat or Ubuntu, so you can use this curl option. So this will help you to install the Argo CD, right? And this, if you're running just this same command, it will install you the latest version, so you can see it here. But if you want to install lower version, so you don't want to install the latest version, now it's a 2.6, sorry, 2.4.6. But if you don't want that and you want to go with some lower versions like a 2.2 or 2.3, any version, what you can do, you can set the tags. You can see what are the releases available on this URL. You can go to this URL and see what all the releases are available. So when you are setting as an environment variable and when you are calling as environment variable, this will install you the particular version of the Argo CD CLI. Okay, so this way you can install lower versions or any preferable versions. So this is the tags. You can see the tags will be different each and every time. So you can use it. Okay, or you can check the tags even here and you can get the numbers. Okay, so with that you can install it on any environment mostly, and if you are using a Mac, you can use a homebrew, and with that you can put the version details. Or if you are using a Windows and PowerShell, if you are interested to go with these options. And I think the later version also available on the Chocolatey, but there is no official document for that. If you are familiar with the Chocolatey, so you can try with that also. Okay, so with that we can install the Argo CD CLI on our system. So based on the system, you can pick on this article I will be attaching on the description. Please check this and try to install it on your local and try your commands. Okay, so next let's see what are the commands available and how we can check this, right? So before that, let's walk you through the first. Let's check the Argo CD is installed and how is it accessible via UI or something. So let's check that first, then we'll proceed from there, right? Okay, I have logged into my Linux box and let's check the Argo CD is already exist or not. So to check that, kubectl get svg-n Argo CD is a namespace. So hope you're familiar with this. Otherwise, please check. Okay, so I think I need to switch my context. I'm using a 2 cluster, I think. Let's check the context first. Okay, my context is set to the cluster. Let me switch that quickly. So we have checked we are in a different cluster. So we need to change that change that. Using a context. My cluster name is case. So we have Argo CD is running already, and this is the IP address again. So we have exposed outside. So let's confirm it once. Is it a correct IP we are using? So how to check that? Let's see how we can access this Argo CD instance. Right, yes, we can able to access it. Let it load. So let it load and wait for a long. Let's check this. Okay. So first command we have to run. So let's check that what we prepared. You know the context, or we can check. So very first thing, which version we are using, so that we should know about it whenever we are working, as there is a multiple changes happening across Argo CD as it's still growing. So you should good to know about the Argo CD version. There is an interesting fact. So if you are running a just Argo CD instance, it will show you the what is your client and what is your server. And if you don't want to get the server, you can just run the client option, right? So with this, you can see that what is the version you are using currently. And this is 2.3.4. I have installed lower version. I didn't upgrade it to latest one, right? And in your case, I think you have to use the latest one. Please use the latest version, or if you are using a different version, please go ahead and use that lower version, right? So now, like I say, as we seen about this option, and next thing, one more thing you may notice, so we are not seeing much detail about the server, but we have to pull some time. So we need to see what is the full detail about the versions and what are the environment it's been installed, everything. So for that, what we have to do, so you have to log into the Argo CD instance, otherwise you can't pull the data from your servers. So that is one thing you should keep in mind. Sometimes even Argo CD version command get hang. It won't give you any kind of a response, and you may stuck. Okay. So always be careful on that side, and you can log into that. Okay. So now, what is other options we can see? Like we can extract this as a JSON file. So to extract as a JSON file, what we can do, just put -o and type JSON. So this will give you the details about your server. Server is nothing much yet, but we'll see that later, right? No, I'm not a fan of JSON, if you say, but you want to pull the data from as a YAML, right? So you can use the short command O YAML. So this should give you the YAML output. It will be very short, and it will give you only the versions details. Okay. So now one more thing what we have to do. So let's log in and see, is it the same response we are getting? For that, we need to put the external IP, or if you have a domain name, you have to use that. So we're going to use Argo CD login command. Is the IP address. I'm going to give the username also, as I know I don't use any kind of SSO integration, so I'm using a normal local user, and still I didn't create any personal user. I'm going to use admin user for demo purpose. If you are using, please go with some local user or SSO users. So this is a command for local user. In case if you are using SSO, so you should use as like this, the IP address of things, and you should mention SSO. Okay, when you do so, it will promote you to SSO login. Please proceed with this process, whatever it's following, it's recommending. Okay, so now I'm logging to the Argo CD. So it will ask, as I didn't have a server certificate properly, and so I need to accept this. Yes, I'm gonna give yes, and ask me to enter the password, but I don't have password, I think, right? Okay, let's quickly pull that password first. Auto pull the password. So we have a handy command, so which will extract us the password. So this is a password. Let me try to relog in now, and it will give me the command. Yes, I'm gonna paste it. Super. Now we are logged in, right? The context is set to this IP address. So now let's run the same commands and see what is the output we are getting. I'm going to run CD version. You can see that earlier we were getting only the version. Now we are getting the detailed output. So same for the JSON. If you're using a JSON, you can run the JSON command and you see that you get a lot of data. And last time we didn't get as much as details. YAML, so there won't be a different commands. So sorry, for YAML there is no change. It will be the same still, but even though you can try it out, right? So far we have seen about version and we have logged in to the user, right? And if you wish to use SSO, as I said, you need to use SSO of the command. We have captured even that option here. So, and please don't forget to change your IP address or URL, whatever you are using. Okay. So next command is context. So we're gonna see the context, which context, like if you are using a multiple Argo CD instance, you need to switch the context, right? So this is a list of Argo CD instance we have used. And this is currently wherever you see star, that means you are in the current. Okay. And for now, let's say like you see, I want to remove the old context because as my IP address is keep on change, I may use like a multiple. I think I didn't clean up any time, so I'm just taking this demo as a try to delete it. Sorry. It's not. So now when we check the context, so you should not see there is a multiple thing and it will reduce one by one. Like this, you can delete your context. If you have multiple context, you can do that too, right? So, all right. So far it's good and clear. So next is a very major thing. Like it is all like a very basic commands. So we'll be seeing one of the major command now. It's a cluster, right? So you should know about this in detail, how to add a cluster and what are the major things you should follow it. As this is, you have to add the clusters mostly by CLI only. So you should be aware of it. And when you are using a CLI, and you should know what are the things you are doing. So please be sure on that. So context we have seen. So when I said like a cluster, we should add some commands, how to extract everything. So before continuing to that, so let's go and check cluster list. Still there is only one cluster at this moment, but in case I want to see this is like in detailed version, right? So how we can put the detailed version. So this is a fancy feature which gives a JSON output, and it gives the in cluster is a cluster name, and this is a cluster by default. Wherever the Argo CD runs, it stores as it is. Okay. So status will be unknown until you are deploying any cluster, any application to the cluster. So the status always will be in unknown state. So don't worry about it. Once you start deploying, the status will be changed. Okay. So next I want to, okay, so this is like an inbuilt, right? So but in our case is like we may have n number of clusters, and this may be a cross platform. See, this is like a AKS. We know that how to pull that. We have run from the Terraform, and from that we can pull the file and we can add to the context. But what if it's a cross platform? Like I'm running everything on AKS, and now I want to enable my additional cluster on EKS. Right, so EKS is like a elastic Kubernetes service, which is provided by Amazon. And I have one more cluster here for testing purpose. I have created it. So this is my cluster, right? So I should log into this as log into that. So you should aware of the command already. Otherwise, the command is, I will give you the command. So this is like EKS. AWS EKS -region, and which region your server cluster is part. So mine is in US 2. So I know. So I know about the details. But even though if you don't know, so you can pull it even from the name. Okay. And I'm going to tell update my kubeconfig. Okay. So kubeconfig, and what is the name it should be? I'm going to name it as AKS, as my cluster name is AKS. So I'm naming it, right? Okay, so as I have already added, so I don't want to rerun it, but I can show you that what I have already. So kubectl config get context, right? So you can see this, my cluster is here, and this is the details, whatever I have, US2 and EKS, and EKS is my cluster. So let's confirm this is a number we have. It's all right. It's here 94977, right? So this is a cluster I have. Now I want to add this cluster to my Argo CD, right? So I should be able to change. I should able to add this because I need to add a multiple clusters. So what I'm going to do, CD cluster add. This is the basic command, and you should give your cluster name. So this is a name. So I want to give the name is here. So when I give the name, it will ask again because I don't have a certificate installed. So it's asking me to confirm that. And sorry, this is for the verification. Already exists, and these are the details. It's there. Okay, now let's quickly check the list of the Kubernetes clusters in the Argo CD. So you can see the previous one is 1. Now we added one more cluster here, right? You can check it once you add it. You can go to your GUI and you can do that. So, and please make sure you are adding the valid details. So this is for the Kubernetes only. If you are using OpenShift, there will be different concepts. Please avoid these tips for the Argos or the OpenShifts. Okay, so now we have seen that. Now let's see like a in detailed view. So what is our what are the details? We can see it on this, right? Argo CD cluster get which cluster I want to pull the details. Let's say first in cluster details, I want to check more detail about this. I'm going to give this details here. All right. So this gives like all the namespaces and everything. So the same thing we can run it here. So let me show you this also. Instead of in cluster, I'm going to say this is for AWS. Again, it's give all the details for me, right? Okay, so right. So we have added the cluster and we have seen most of we can see the details and everything, right? So next, like if you don't want to use the cluster, maybe the cluster is created for temporary purpose and you don't need to have a redundant data on your Argo CD. So what you can do, you can quickly clean it up. So how you can clean it up? So cleaning up, you should give the project details. You should not use a name, right? So I want to give this is like this. So I'm going to remove it. So to remove what the command I'm going to use, Argo CD cluster for the typo cluster again is from and I'm going to type the project name. So if I do so, it's removed. So how to verify it? So let's verify the cluster list again and see. Okay, so you can see it now. You have only one at this moment, right? So this is how you can manage your cluster. So these are the commands you can follow it here. Okay, so we'll see even GKE like a Google Cloud also will try to add, and if we got the chance, we'll try to add the local clusters or something. But at this moment, so we do have only these clusters. We are good to go with this. Okay. So in coming video, we'll see about how to create the application, how to add the repositories, and also there is admin commands. So we'll see that on next videos. Until then, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks for your support. And please do us to let us know if you're looking for any other topics so we can try to cover it. You can put it on the comment or you can share it via any of the social media platform to us. Okay. Our name is FoxuTech. You can find it easily. Just type the FoxuTech on any social medias. Thank you for your time, guys. Have a great day. Keep learning. Thank you. Bye-bye.